Hi everybody, it's Kris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel and podcast. Premier League football is back and match previews are back. As always, I am Kris and I am joined by Deka, fellow Always Man Faces podcaster, Harry Wright and Daryl Mitchell-Hill. Hi boys, how are all of yous doing? Start with you, Deka.
I'm fantastic, mate. Honestly, brilliant. Never been better. I'm really happy football's back or coming back. I feel like it's been a long time since we've played a game. It feels like that to me.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice to get back on the road if you like and watching the boys. And I've got a lovely Disaronno and Coke, as I've said earlier. And I'm running short, so if I disappear, I'm just going to get another drink.
It's always good to see the swinging egg basket chair back as well, mate.
Yeah. I'm back in the old sex swing. I'll try not to move too much.
Well, mate, I think people get a little bit dizzy when you're sat in your front room there. Only person to have garden furniture in his living room, Deka Petrie. Daryl is here as well. Daryl, the lads have just been on another warm weather training trip, been to Dubai. Came at a great time, mate. Obviously, back-to-back defeats against Chelsea. Unbelievably unlucky in there. Hunting second half against Everton. But great time to get that break, wasn't it?
Aye, absolutely. You could tell in the Everton game that we just seem to be running out of legs and energy, and especially at the end of such a tough run of away games. And hopefully, that now that they've been away in Dubai for this warm weather training, has the same impact that the previous trip back in January had.
Yeah. Over to you, Harry. Just to confirm and repeat what Daryl said. I think the last time that this happened when the lads went to Saudi Arabia for that warm weather trip and training camp, it worked wonders. That's when our run started on the back of that. So fingers crossed, mate. It's a huge ask, but fingers crossed we can go full of confidence into this game against Tottenham Hotspur, despite obviously those two back-to-back defeats.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think the two players as well. I think the international break's done as well because I feel like Chris Wood, I think it's brilliant. He's been scoring goals for New Zealand for fun. He could come back in the squad and just be full of confidence. Then Maxi as well. I think obviously he's been ropey and there's been discussions about it, especially against Everton. But then obviously now he's got two away in Dubai. I think he's in the friendly. He scored two, sort of like Gale. I think the two players that probably needed the most to probably help the team as well have done that. So hopefully it's worked out well for us.
Yeah, so Chris Wood wasn't the only one. Almiron bagged a goal as well for Paraguay, and so did Bruno as well. So it's a headache. It was a great finish. It's another headache for Eddie Howe, Deka, and we discussed this on Monday night with the Always Man Faces lads, and it's tough decisions to make now. Like we mentioned before, the team hasn't picked itself far from that, but because of injuries and illnesses, that forced the likes of Bruno to come into the team. It forced Longstaff to get his opportunity in the team. And now that we've got virtually a fully fit squad, apart from obviously the long-term injuries, likes of Trippier, Wilson, etc., it's a tough one for Eddie Howe now, Deka. It really is, especially with that midfield positioning.
Yeah, it is. I think... just to quickly touch on Bruno, like that goal was something really special, and the assist when he just made that play outside of his foot, and what's mad is that I've had not a debate with Mark, surprisingly, but like a conversation with Mark, and it's normally been about I think Bruno plays, and I always think Bruno's going to be the replacement for Shelvey, being that deep lying player. But you look at them, the goal and that assist he got for Brazil, all of that's well up the field. So maybe. That's more like what Willock, the Willock area that Willock's doing. So, that's really interesting. But
he looks comfortable, Deka, doesn't he? No matter where he is in midfield, he looks comfortable.
Well, I think that one of the problems with modern football, my opinion, is you've always seemed to have a role in midfield. You are either a holding midfielder, and that's all you can do, or you're advance, maybe a number 10 if you like. He seems to be complete about the box to box. He can press, he can tackle, he can pass, he can create, he can score a goal. Christ knows how we've signed him. I mean, I know we've got a lot of money now, but I mean, the position we were in at the time when we signed him and stuff, I think we've been very lucky. But I would love to see John Joe come back in, because I still think we've missed him the last few games.
I agree.
And Joe Linton, obviously, like, it's just been a revelation since moving in midfield. And if he's fit, he starts, like, categorically. So if you could see a combination of John Joe, Bruno, and Joe Linton, I think that would be amazing. But then you're leaving out Willock, who, I mean, Willock's done nothing really wrong. So it is a headache, but it's a nice headache to have, I think.
Yeah, I think, Daryl, that if that is the three that Eddie Howe goes with, would that be the first time we've seen the three of those play alongside each other?
I think so. I know it's always been the case that it's been Shelvey and Willock and one of the others. Certainly down at Southampton, it was Shelvey, Joe Linton, and Willock before I think Bruno came on later on in the game. I could be wrong on that, but from what I remember, that's how it went. But yeah, so it'd be nice to see those three come on and play like that together. Like Deka was saying, you know, when I first saw what I'd seen of Bruno before he signed for the club, and then what you read about him, it was more a case of he was more or less Shelvey's ready-made replacement. But as Deka rightly says, you know, we've seen him advanced up the pitch. And, you know, it's funny, when we first saw him in these early games when we were down at West Ham, and he came on late in the game for Joe Willock, and I could see we were pressing late on in the game, and Joe Linton was sort of like breaking forward, and he was trying to urge Bruno to join him, and he seemed a little bit hesitant at that time in the early days. But, you know, playing for Brazil, if he can come back with that sort of form, and I don't think we'll have any problems or anything to worry about with him going forward.
Yeah, international duty, assist. I think he was only on the field for around about 8 minutes, and he looked like the best player on the field. And obviously he's bagged the goal in the last one there. Harry, do you still look at Bruno and think, how have we managed to sign this player?
He's just class, isn't he? Like, he's unbelievable. I think what sums it up almost perfectly is when he was playing it around in the box in the 90th minute. What was the score? Who were playing it? I think it was someone.
Was it Brighton?
It was Brighton game, I think it was.
Brighton, and he was just playing around in the box, and like everyone's like, I mean, I was one of them. I was screaming at him. I was like, just kick it, man, get it out.
Give him the Lee's end a heart attack.
But he just didn't. Like, he didn't feel the pressure, and he just passes out, and it feels like everyone just has like, just chill out. We'll find space, and you'll find us. And it's unbelievable to have that back in the team. For me, he's almost similar to Johan Goodbye, the way he kind of picks the ball up and wants to move forward and always looking to progress up the field, to be honest. We've been missing it for a long, long time.
We'll have, and like I said at the very start, it's a fantastic position for Eddie Howe to find himself in, with 5, maybe even 6 choices in midfield there, and something which, Deka, how many times have we said this over the years, that midfield needs replaced, that midfield was just bypassed by every other team that we came up against, and now it's probably the strongest position on the field.
Well, I think my biggest complaint used to be with the midfielders. We used to always play 2 in midfield, and I know I've banged this drum a lot. I always felt we needed an extra man in there.
Hayden and Shelvey most of the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. If it wasn't them 2, if it would be Longstaff and Shelvey,
Longstaff find his way in there.
We're just getting, they were just walking past her, you know, a lot of the times. And then obviously that thing of obviously Kieran Clark getting sent off against Norwich, then Joe Linton went into midfield that one for 45 minutes or 50 minutes. And we've really felt lucky on that one. Like, it doesn't often happen to us where we get a bit of luck. And like, that really has been a stroke of luck and genius, really, that he's moved into that position, and Eddie Howe's obviously worked with him after that. And he's became, like, every single game now, he's 8 or 9 out of 10. Every game he's playing.
Easy.
Easy. Like, and in terms of the midfield position, I almost feel, there was a game wasn't so long ago that he wasn't on. I don't know if he was injured or he didn't play.
It was he missed a game due to illness, wasn't it?
Well, maybe Chelsea.
Oh no, his was a groin injury. It was a groin injury with Joe Linton. It was Shelvey that had the illness, and we were both missing for that game.
That's right. And I remember being gutted. I was absolutely gutted that he wasn't on. And no offense, I'll hold my hands up. I wasn't thinking that 12 months ago. Do you know what I mean? Because he was playing a different position and stuff like that. But himself, he's been.
You were shy, Deka, do you mean?
Well, I was trying to be nice, right? I was trying to be nice.
But Deka, I'm going to stay with you, mate, because you've got the previous results and fixtures from Spurs in front of you.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Well, at least you should have.
They're on my wall.
Spurs this season, they're being so far up and down. Before we get into the results, Matty has recorded a Beyond the Lines with Ricky from Last Word on Spurs podcast. And the Spurs point of view, going into this game, it's you don't know which Spurs side you're going to face. Like Deka's going to go through. Some of the results over the last couple of months have been so up and down. And before we started recording, Harry said they just can't keep on with that momentum. It just seems like they can't bottle that up and just continue the rest of the season with it, unlike what we've done when we went on that unbelievable run, 9 unbeaten. But Dad, just going through a handful of their results, if we're looking back over the last 5 results, including the likes of the cup games and things like that, the loss against Middlesbrough, it's been a bit mental for Spurs.
Yeah, it has. I mean, if you look at, I'll go back a tiny bit further. They had that amazing away victory at Man City, which was an unbelievable result, and then they followed that up with a defeat against Burnley. But they then followed that up with a 4-0 win at Leeds away. Then they got beaten in the cup off Middlesbrough. Then they've beaten. Having said this, I do feel that the last 4 games they've beaten Everton 5-0, which, bear in mind, that was our last opposition that we played. And not to be cruel here, but we never looked like having 5 opportunities in the game, let alone scoring 5. They then got beat off Man United away 3-2, and then they followed it with back-to-back wins. They've beaten Brighton away, which is not an easy place to go, and I think a really impressive result against West Ham 3-1 their last game out. So I agree that they are a bit hot and cold, no question on that, but they've got some real quality. And if you cast your mind back to when we played them at home, I remember that was the first game of the takeover. Is that correct? And the atmosphere was unbelievable. We scored within a second. It felt like Wilson scored, but we were second best in that game. Now, of course, though, an awful lot has changed. In our place, of course, it has. But they've got some great players, like Son and Kane, just to mention a couple there. So it's going to be a tough one. It really is. But we've got, we're at home. The lads have been away for a couple of weeks there. You touched on before, the last time the lads went away, they came back and went on this brilliant run. I'm not saying they'll repeat that run by any stretch, but you'd like to think they've had a good time away. They've regrouped after the couple of bad results. It's not going to be easy by any stretch, but what game is easy in the Premier League? There is no easy games, is there? Let's be fair. But I think it'll be an interesting. I'm so I don't know. I think I'm still confident, though. I am still confident because I feel we've got players coming back, and I wouldn't say I'm afraid of them, if that makes sense. I'm not shitting myself that we're playing Spurs. Put it that way.
Yeah. Are you shitting yourself, Daryl?
Right now, yeah.
Not really. It's like, we've mentioned there, Spurs are a bit hit and miss at the minute, even though they've had some good results there, and the Tottenham fans are quite rightly in a bit of a tiz about which one's going to turn up on Sunday. I mean, I've got faith in what we do now as a team and how we play, and that we can go to these games and get results from these games. Like previously, like pre-Eddie and pre-takeover, you would have thought, oh God, we're going to go down there and get an absolute spanking. But now, with everything and the fortune that we've had since we got taken over in the new year with the 9-game unbeaten run, I'm really confident going into this in terms of what we'll see a performance and quite possibly nick a point, if not get a win.
Yeah, I'm fully in agreement with you. I think if we've been playing Spurs without the last 2 defeats against Chelsea and Everton, I would have been a lot more confident going in this one. It's a really hard game, no matter which Spurs team turn up. I still think it's going to be a hard game for us, Harry. But hopefully, Eddie Howe continues what he has been doing, and we take the game to the opposition rather than just sit back and defend.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it any different, to be honest. I think like what we'll do. But when I think of playing Spurs in the past, it's sometimes caused an upset. And you think before we went down in the Championship with Rafa, absolutely walloped them. Joe Linton in the summer about 2 years ago. There's times like that. Perez's last minute goal at White Hart Lane, like things like that. Like they're there for the beating if we want to. And like you said, with that break that we've had, hopefully that comes back with a bit of confidence and we'll go for them. Like because there isn't anything to lose against Tottenham. Like, I hate the phrase free hit, but just go for it. What's the point in sitting back? Like, we're not that team anymore. We might as well go for it and see what happens. Try have a bit of quality with Bruno. Take our time. Don't rush and panic and hoof the ball along. Play the Brucey ball. Just take your time and see what happens.
Does scoring goals worry you at the minute? Because if you look at that side of the field, Harry, if you look at defence, we look pretty solid as a defensive unit. Is it the scoring goals which worry you slightly?
Yeah, 100%. I've always said that our strikers always seem so isolated. Our wingers are so wide, and like we kind of usually resort to cross it in the box if we're in trouble. It's rare that you see us kind of go through the middle. I know you were talking about it on Monday, almost playing Maxi through the middle. Why not? Just to see what happens. I know he's been there once or twice, but when you think about the goal that he scored against Burnley, that was through the middle because he can use both feet. When you got your wingers, we get crowded out so quickly. I don't have anything against Wood. Yes, he was 25 million. Probably shouldn't have been 25 million. But if we can get someone behind him, bit of support, that's why. I mean, I know that you were saying Shelby. We'll be missing him, and we'll put him in obviously for Willock. But Willock gives you that. I feel like Willock is that late arrival. He's behind the striker. So if we can maybe narrow it a bit or put someone closer behind him, then I have more confidence in us going forward. I think if you don't have Wood there, say if you had, I don't know, I mean, we don't play Gale, but if you have Gale there, someone who's not a target man, we've got no chance. The only way that we've got a chance of scoring is because we've got some strength up front. Someone that's going to kind of hold up play and hopefully pass it on. But who knows? It might be changed. Might have changed it completely after Dubai. You might have seen that and it might have changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, and like you said at the very start of this, he scored a couple for New Zealand as well. So hopefully he can continue that form when he returns to Newcastle. Deka, let's go around and get our score predictions, mate. So obviously Sunday kickoff, 4:30, I think it is. How's it gonna go out, mate?
I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. I wouldn't say 1-1. Yeah. I think just to touch on what Harry said there, I think Wood's got a hard task, like in most games, hasn't he? For like, I wouldn't say that, and I don't mean this against him or anything, but I wouldn't say there's many games I've watched and then came away and thought, God, Wood was excellent today. He really did well. I just haven't thought that. But with him playing up front on his own, he's 9 times out of 10 got 2 centre halves on him all game. He hasn't got any pace, which that's not his fault. He just hasn't got it. So we can't play balls in behind. We can't play balls over the top. It's pretty difficult for him. Like, and obviously, as he rightly says, if we don't get someone close to him, well, he's got a thankful task, hasn't he? So, but I think that also goes to show just how damn good Wilson is. Like Wilson has a bit of everything, doesn't he? Wilson can hold it up. He can run in behind.
Chris Wood isn't the sort of striker that's going to pick the ball up, run with the ball to unscare defenders, is he?
Yeah, he's just not, is he? So we have to, and I think that's why certainly the last 2 games, that's why we haven't looked like a threat pretty much at all in the game, because we haven't been able to get around Wood. And to be fair, there's other times where I've been frustrated with Wood that he's controlled the ball and had it, but he's lost it dead easily. And I'm like, you've got to keep hold of it there, mate. You know what I mean? But anyway, but I'll go for 1-1. Sorry, I'm blabbing a bit there. I'll go 1-1.
Daryl, your thoughts, mate?
Well, I certainly don't think it's going to be anything like my last visit down there, which was the old White Hart Lane, and we got battered 4-0 in the League Cup. So I certainly don't think it'll be as bad as that.
Don't go, Daryl. Don't go.
I'm going to be there now, so it's all set in place. But no, I think I actually agree with Deka. I think we'll be able to get a 1-1 draw out of it. I think again with Spurs the way they are, I think if we can upset them, and then if we can get an early goal or whatever, that will upset the crowd. And then that'll be on our side after that, I think.
It's just that partnership between Harry Kane and Son scare the living daylights out of me. Like, unreal. It really does. If they're on fire, there's not many teams that'll have a chance.
Best in the Premier League duo.
Who's that player they've got? They've got a new signing. He's
Kulusevski.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant when I've watched him. So he's another player to watch out for. Like, he's class act.
Harry, what's your predictions?
3-1 Newcastle.
Obviously. Oh, Jesus, really?
Well, no, I
have you passed the Disarano across the room?
I love how he followed up with a well, no.
3-1. Actually, no. What am I thinking?
No, I was 100% 3-1. That's what I'm going to go for. But I was thinking 1-0 like all day. Like I was just thinking 1-0. I thought that leading up to the game as well. But 3-1. Why not?
3 goals in here.
Exactly. Well, Maxi put that statement up, didn't he? Saying like, see what's to come. So see what he does. I mean, like, hopefully it lifts the whole team. I can't imagine him like scoring a hat trick. I mean, he might do. You never know. Get me 3 goals.
I'm not big on saying
does he start, Harry? Does Maxi start?
Yeah, well, of course he does. 100% he does. I think there's no way that he doesn't start. Jacob Murphy's been fantastic. He's been unbelievable, but he's just class.
If Maxi's fit, he starts.
He's just got so much class. And like I know the impact sub argument and that the structure of the team breaks up and things like that, but that's because I don't think he is an impact sub. He could be if he play him centre and he just runs like an absolute live wire down the middle. But if you just start him on the wing, keep his head screwed on, I guess, because that's what you need to do with him. He is a bit of a toddler. Like he loves a good temper tantrum, but he's got class, and that's what we need at the minute.
I still, I've having that debate with Mark the other day on Monday. There, like the same impact sort of stuff hasn't been very good. I mean, Chelsea game, right? I mean, we were chasing the game, right? Obviously, I know that them had scored and everybody was gung ho. Then I remember when the goal went in, everyone was out of shape because we were just trying to get back in the game. I just think he's had 2 goals at it and what played probably in full, maybe 20 minutes of football, or maybe half an hour of football. Like it's not very much, is it? I mean, it's such a small sample size to have a go at him for. But of course, I'm with Harry. Like I think if he's fit, and that's a very, very important thing, by the way. If he's fit and ready, then he has to.
100%, no, like 100%.
Yeah,
fit.
absolutely.
You don't bring him on with a niggle or whatever. I think you need to wait until he's 100% fit. But I think obviously I know you said that 20 minutes, but I think you just like yes, he can do too much and then take on the players and it's fantastic. Yeah. But when he comes on like that, he almost tries too hard and he loses 100%. The ball. 100%. And if he's going to try too hard and lose the ball, then try hard enough to get back in those situations.
Well, yeah, you're never going to get that. I don't think you'll ever get that from him, unfortunately. No, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't think you will. But I do definitely agree that when he comes on, he thinks I've got 10 minutes here to show everyone what I've got, and then all of a sudden it's like he's playing Wembley singles. Like it's ridiculous, really. That and I do believe that his mentality just isn't right for coming off.
Speaking of that, Deka, like you talk about Wembley singles, how great would it be if you're playing Wembley dubs and you've got somebody like Saint-Maximin's other player? Like you'd be like, you just go get with through to the next round.
I'd be off to the chippy me. I'll get the bag of chips in while you're scoring all the goals.
So all of you have gone for pretty positive results for Newcastle, and unfortunately,
Kris,
I don't think it's going to be our day. I think it's going to be very similar to the Chelsea game, where I think it'll be pretty even throughout. Obviously, there'll be spells for both sides, but I think Spurs will nick it.
I can't handle a late goal though. I can't handle it.
Not another one. Not another one.
No. I'll be out.
I think, yes, we spoke about the likes of the warm weather training and things like that. That's great for team bonding, of course it is, and getting these players fit again. I just can't see it. I really can't see it away at Spurs. Hope I'm wrong. Of course I do. But I think it can go either way. I think it's going to be pretty close, but I just think they'll get it at the end. I really do.
I think I know that sounds negative that we're going to get beat, but I do want to mention the last 2 games as well. Like I know the Everton game, certainly the second half wasn't great. Let's be fair, it wasn't. But certainly them 2 games that we've lost, we've really looked in the game. Certainly the Chelsea one. We were the better side in that Chelsea game.
Oh, right.
And we really were. And you think what we were like 12 months ago or so like that, we would have been backs against the wall, defending for our life to be in the game. And even if we do lose it against Spurs, if we still see that, you still see that sort of progression, or do you know what I mean? Like being in the game, that I'll take that. We'll lose a game of football. That happens. But as long as we're in the game and we look like we've got a plan, we've got a structure, the lads know what to do, and then that's great.
Fully agree.
It's lush to see the other teams. Sorry, Kris. I was going to say it's just lush to see the other teams when we're pressing as a team to think shit. We'll get back now, because that was us. That was us. Like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and now we're the team that's pressing on them, and it's good to see the whole team move up as well. Not just like one and then leave a gap. The whole team pressing. It's fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Harry, it's great to see that you actually is styling your facial hair on Bruno Guimaraes as well at the minute. Looks like you got a pair of Bruno going on there.
I know. I might give it a go. See what I'll do. I'll put your hair like him as well. Go for it. Why not?
There is a very Bruno look going on here. Like,
it
very
is,
handsome.
isn't it?
I love it, mate. Love it. I love it. You come on every week, you mate.
Deka, I'll be rocking it one. Just because he's not arguing about sin with you. That's why you want him every
True,
week.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but I did think it.
Right. Thank you very much, boys. Thank you everybody who has watched this and people that are listening just to the audio only. You probably won't get what we meant by Deka's sex swing, so you'll have to go on YouTube and have a look at that one. But yeah,
your clothes are on. Your clothes are on.
For now. Yeah, thanks everybody. We shall see you later on in the week, and we will have extra time coming as well as possibly a watch along. We're not sure if we're doing it yet. Might be one. Post match better. I'll be back, and like I said, you also have Beyond the Lines, which has just gone out with Matty and Ricky, which is always a great watch as well. So thank you very much, and away the lads, as always.
Away the lads.
Away the lads.